I guess I should get that one.
Hey, Jad. Man, we got the power crew here. So Manish, I'm so excited to have you because you have a real perspective. One that you're buying. Two, you bought before, not before everybody else, but before a lot of people. And I think it's just so interesting that you've done it in Las Vegas. And you might, you might not, you play it down like it's not a big deal, but having a little pulse on the national market and where the Airbnb business and how your team operates.
Nicholas, did you see the new law that was passed in New Orleans for Airbnb? They're basically saying that there's only one Airbnb allowed per street. And per street, because of all the teachers and stuff saying that there's no housing for them, and they're just being, all the investors are coming in and they're increasing their property taxes, and there's no houses for the poor people. It just came out like 48 hours ago. They just passed the legislation. And so all those people, I don't even think you can, yes, there's only one Airbnb per street. So it was in the Washington Post. I don't know if you.
Too bad, because we've done multiple Airbnbs as guests in New Orleans.
Yeah, we enjoy that. Yeah,
we enjoyed that.
I have a client right now is debating whether to buy a property in DC, where she has her primary residence and two good investments. New Orleans, where her daughter went to college and she has a good investment, and Miami is the third. And she was worried about the way they're clamping down on Airbnb in New Orleans in particular.
Yeah, it was in the Post 48 hours ago. There's just too much. So I mean, it's an interesting article. They said that they were just going to ban it completely, and so they tried to come with a compromise. The compromise is they'll allow one Airbnb per street.
Huh. That's a weird way to do it, eh?
Yeah, I mean, the councilman was kind of out of ideas. He didn't want to, he was being pulled in both ways. But I mean, obviously his base, his electorate, are the boisterous opinion, and they're saying that there's no place to live, our property taxes are going high, all there is just huge parties, no one cares about the community, and so it is. It's
ridiculous. I mean, it's stimulating the economy, it's creating spending. I mean, sure, there could be regulation around it, and I wonder what, maybe when you said block, it ran me like the only one on 8th Street, the only one on East Capitol, but maybe it's between 1st and 2nd on East Capitol. There only could be one, and then I wonder if you could have one on the north side and then one on the south side, because I run an Airbnb business, definitely not like Manish's operation. But I have people that are competition, but they're also it's good it's healthy competition, because it gathers more people that want to stay there. It's like a hub. People want to stay near me because there's a lot of Airbnb options, so they can pick and choose which one they want. The custom, if it's got the kitchen, mine has a kitchenette, the other one doesn't. Do you feel that? I guess, is that on your radar in terms of just having regulation? And how do you follow that, Manish, for Airbnb? Do you have like a source that you go to?
So I think it's a good question. I think I'll narrate a story. Actual event. So last year I was in Las Vegas and I attended that Expedia conference. And Expedia, as you know, not only does Vrbo, but they also do the airlines and the hotels and all that. And earlier they were operating in different silos, but then they said it's all travel. We really don't care, how we get paid, whether, we get commission through Vrbo or whether we make, money, brokering deals through hotels, right? But when you go to a panel related to Airbnb or short-term rentals, and you see what is happening in the market is in 2020 and 2021, the hotels were going out of business. They were filing for bankruptcies, and the short-term rentals everybody wanted to do, and still they want to do it, and they feel like that is the only business in the town. So everybody wants to open a shop and uh, short-term rentals. So what's happening is that the hotels started lobbying, because that, they can't change their hotel overnight, right? So they can't basically say, hey, now suddenly we'll provide kitchen in every room and do this, and imagine if you were going to go and buy a hotel right now, you can't get financing right now for a hotel. And hotels are not bad, meaning they provide a certain purpose, but eventually, but then they also have big money, like the Marriotts, the Hiltons, and all that. So when you are talking about any big city where there is a presence of hotels, guess what, sooner or later they will start lobbying. And that's what you're seeing, whether it is New Orleans, DC, San Francisco, anywhere, right? Because if you start allowing everyone to do Airbnb, then eventually what are the hotels are going to do? So this is, in one way, if I was a hotel operator, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's what they are doing. Especially, I feel very wary about investing in any market where there are big hotels. I think in DC, Nick and Carlos, you did that other conference where people are doing medium-term rentals. So, people are still innovating, finding ways to do it. But then I think the market also has to be balanced. We are no longer in COVID. Do we still need that many Airbnbs or short-term rentals as earlier? I don't know the answer. Meaning, we may still need better experiences, and if you can provide it and there's a big need for that, I think you will have a market for it. But do we need more couches everywhere where people can sleep? I don't know the answer to that. I don't operate in those markets. But in general, I think what is happening is the market is getting a little bit more regulated, a little more streamlined, in my opinion. And, you are having more like professional hosts and standards coming to the market, rather than anybody just saying, oh, I want to do an Airbnb, and then they don't do a proper guest experience. They sometimes, you book a trip and you show up and then they have already canceled your trip. You find, and so there are all kinds of things which are happening. And there is, whenever an industry matures or grows, there is room for, improvement in terms of regulating it. I'm not saying, totally stop it, but I think it has to mature. And I think that's what is happening. It's not stopping, it's just basically finding its own niche where it will provide that experience and value to the customer. Because eventually, if a Marriott has a hotel room and it is in a good condition, meaning I would stay in a hotel many times, depending on the type of travel I'm doing. It's not that I want to deal with a host who's like, give me a 5-star review, do this, do that. Meaning, we all have our travel points. We also buy these credit cards. So maybe when I'm going alone in a major city, I will always prefer to stay in a Marriott than, an Airbnb. Airbnb or short-term rental has its place in my mind when, you're going with family, you have certain things you want to accomplish. But if you're going to stay there for a night, meaning, I think you just want everything standard, nothing to learn about. Go in, you know exactly what to expect. You can order your, freebies or amenities you are used to. So I think the standardization of a hotel has a lot of value in certain places. And
let me get
therefore,
back on if I can, Manish. And we could, let me give background, and this is a good leeway to the build your team entryway. So we have Manish here as our guest, and Matthew Borgerson. Matthew, if you raise your hand, he's
Hey guys.
he's the other handsome guy, including myself on this. Carlos, I'm sorry. You don't meet the height requirement, but you definitely meet the hoop requirement. So we have Matthew Borgerson with First Home Mortgage, and we have Manish. How do you pronounce your last name, Manish? I don't want to mess it up.
Paliwal.
Paliwal, there we go. Manish Paliwal, and he is an Airbnb investor, very experienced. And we have them today talking about how to build your dream team. And you have myself and Carlos. I'm trying to change my layout so I could see everybody. Let's see. So super excited to have everybody. We're going to try to keep this one short for an hour. I am so sorry we weren't able to do this in person. I am so excited to actually network. We are in 2023, and there is a window. We are in the window where you missed it. You might have missed it. The best time to buy real estate was like a few months ago. Now is the second best time. And as we see, and stories here today will tell you that real estate is alive, and people are doing multiple offers, hundreds of $1,000s over asking because of the rate environment and what fundamental issue we have in the Washington, D.C. area is a limited supply that is being ever expanded because of the rate hike and the inability of people to move. So we're encountering that problem, but luckily homes are coming on the market. So a little bit about myself. Let's go through this. We're going to go, we're going to do leader intros. And then if you want to volunteer, we could do member intros for maybe 10 minutes. And then we're going to go into what is a dream team. I'm going to interview Manish, and Carlos is going to interview Matt. So my name is Nick. I co-host with Carlos. If this is your first time, welcome. We are so excited to take you on a journey of being investment minded and taking that a little bit further, and how you build your wealth, how you get out of your 9-to-5 job and you actually are able to build equity. There's a difference between cash flow and equity, right? We could be looking paycheck to paycheck. What are we going to do? What are we going to save? But there's only so much you could save, right? Whereas if you start investing in real estate or assets, they grow bigger. Your footprint gets bigger exponentially because you get a loan. You have $1 million asset, but you only put $200,000 down, but your asset base is so big. So we're talking about equity here and how you could gain that, and we're on this journey together. So my name is Nick. I own 2 houses, looking for another one. Another multi-unit would be nice. And I would like to do a fix and flip BRRRR model in 2023. I'm going to hand it to my co-host Carlos to do a quick intro.
All right, thanks, Nick. So yeah, I've got good news and bad news for you guys. The bad news ought to wake you up if you think that you want to invest in real estate. Then you better sharpen your focus because yesterday would have been better, at least around here in the DMV, better than today. And tomorrow is definitely better than Thursday. So what I'm trying to describe is trajectory. The market is starting to move, and I'm dependent as a realtor on the market moving. As an investor, I'm interested in it, but I'm not dependent on it because I don't flip. I buy and hold. So it's not really that important to me what the resale value of any of my real estate is, because I tend to hang on to it. I'm very interested in the rental value of my real estate because I tend to hold. And for those of us who want to flip, we definitely want to know, like realtors do, is the market moving? Is there activity? And Nick's heard me say this again and again. So has Russell, who's on the line. Russell's one of the other top agents on our sales team. I'm the leader of Eng Garcia Properties. Eng is Lucinda Eng, my wife, ENG Eng. I'm Carlos Garcia. Nick is my business partner. Russell is a newer associate on our team and one of the best clients I ever had. Also, buy and hold real estate addict, if you will. Matt Borgerson is our business partner. He works with a lot of our traditional borrowers, and if you can, I see Cherie is a lender as well. Nothing against her, but if you've got an uncomplicated scenario, want to get the cheapest, best money, go to Matt. If you're more like a true business person in real estate, say not able necessarily to do it through your primary, I think you should be talking to Cherie. We are members potentially of your team. Cherie and Matt, both lenders, could both be on your team, depending on the scenario. We are all about building a team, and a lot of people are going to talk to you like that. We walk the talk. Hopefully we're transparent. Hopefully we're not miserly. We share information. We want to encourage connections. And yes, as realtors, we love to do deals. Our team has sold $100 million worth of real estate for each of the last 10 years. So, in the scale of things, that's pretty good for primarily residential real estate. We also do some commercial. I've got a friend who wants to buy wants to rent a warehouse close in PG, maybe even as far out as Laurel. And I might help him with that. We've wrapped people selling small residential buildings. Most of what we do is residential. Certainly most of what we own and seek to own is residential. And this here is a monthly space. It's virtual today, but we do in-person meetings as well, where we can all share and learn with each other. My background is I used to be a lawyer, did that for 12 years, been investing since the late 90s. I'm also a very active realtor today and one of the owners of the Keller Williams offices in DC. So that's my intro. Very happy to have you guys. There's actually a lot to talk about in terms of building a team, and there's a lot to talk about in terms of the market, because I think a lot of people have the wrong idea about where the market is, where it's going, and what the risks are. I literally think those are like the major questions and with regard to real estate, the real estate market, and that a whole lot of very smart people have the wrong idea. For example, and then we'll get away from my long-winded intro. Did you know that on the very same day that the Fed increased the Fed funds rate last week, mortgage rates went down? Did you notice? That happened the very same day. So maybe, well, of course, the money people, Jerry's like, I didn't know that. And Matt's like, I was on it. They can tell us a little bit more about why that happens. But, if you go to a cocktail party, people are like, yeah, the Fed just increased the mortgage rate. What? That's not what happened. So there's a lot of misunderstanding, even among very bright people in this super highly educated metro area of Washington, D.C. You've got a lot of people saying the opposite of the reality, and like other friends listening to them. So don't you all who have the opportunity to be in this venue go misunderstanding what's going on. We don't want that to happen. At a minimum, we want you to get the facts straight, and that's part of what we do. Also, a lot of opining, if you will. People, all of us, because we don't all have to agree on where the market's headed, but there's some basic facts statistically that are facts that you want to make sure you understand. So that's sort of like where I come from on this stuff. Super passionate about it. Really happy to see you guys. Hoping we can get more people returning to this meeting now that the market is reactivating, because it is. I mean, I'm in a 10 offer situation right now. Nick just received multiple offers on his listing. The market is suddenly awakening.
Boom. There you go. It is awake. Who else is out there? Tell us a quick, what's your name, where you're from, and why you joined Grid. Cherie, start us off.
Yes, sir. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Cherie. I am with a company called Simply Funded, and we are hard money lenders in the DMV area. Why did I join Grid? It is because I'm passionate about real estate and about being of service to individuals, and also because I'm always a student as well. I'm a lifelong student, and I also pick up as much about creative real estate and things like that as I do about, marketing and the other processes of getting deals and closing them. So thank you. If my information is in the chat, if anyone needs to speak with me about any area of real estate that I could be of service to you, even if it's a connection that you need.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And looking forward to connecting about the 5 million, what it costs to borrow that money.
Yes, I should have said that. We have 5 million that I'm trying to deploy ASAP. So if you have deals in the DMV area, yes.
We do. Shad does. Who else got deals? Camille, I know Camille might need some money. Damien needs some money. Malik definitely needs some money. He's itching for the next deal in Tenleytown.
Yes.
Malik and Cherie, you should exchange info. Do you do your second flip, Malik? This is the time to buy in Tenleytown.
Yeah,
if you could win it, and we might have it off listing for you.
Yeah, I was writing down her contact info from the chat, and I was about to send her a text message. Yeah.
Thanks.
We went to American University. Nice.
Yeah. You
Scott.
said Tenleytown. That's like my old stomping ground.
Scott, you want to do an intro? If you're ready. Then maybe Jad and Camille. Who else we got that?
Yeah. Thank you, Nicholas and Carlos for hosting today and taking time out of your day. I'm really excited to see who's on your dream team and see how I can, better upgrade my team. So thank you guys again for hosting, and I look forward to learning from everybody.
Yeah, I guess you more deals, Jad.
Jad, would you say you buy and hold or fix and flip or both?
I mean, buying and holding is okay, but I just got my tax bill. It's $264,000, 2021. So I really don't want to flip anymore. Tax bill is crazy. Like and I bought 3 houses just to offset my tax liability, and it's still $264,000. So for those of you that are flipping, just know that 30% needs to be set aside for the government, and no matter what your deductions are. So if I just put a contract on an 8-unit apartment building out in Warrenton I put an all cash offer over the weekend. We'll see if I get it. And yeah, but I still think flipping is, I'd rather buy and hold because it's a long-term thing you can give to your kids, but you don't get rich off of buying and holding. Flipping is you'll make more money. Is a better way to go because you have quicker cash and you can get wealthier quicker. So I'm doing both, Carlos, if I'm being honest right now.
Okay. I just don't know. I don't know whether I'm supposed to be feeling like inspired by Jad or jealous, because there are a lot of us who wouldn't mind making 264, but much less giving the government that much.
Yeah. I think he needs to teach a class.
Yeah, you might have to do that.
No, I'm not going to teach my secrets, not until I've made enough money. I don't need more competition.
Oh, Jad. That's
right.
very gritty.
I mean, Samson is usually very open, they're very transparent people.
That's why I come on these calls. I'm just like sitting here in the corner, taking notes, learning what Nicholas and Carlos do. And then after the call is over, I just try to steal their deals.
Well, I'm going to send you a 4-unit. It might not be for you, but I'll send a 4-unit. It's got a tad bit of an issue, so maybe a good value add for a buy hold investor. I'll send that.
All right. Well, thank you guys again, Nicholas and Carlos, for hosting. I appreciate it.
All right, 9 more minutes. Who else wants to introduce their name, where they're from, what do they do, why they joined Grid? Shadney? I just saw you come online.
Yes, I did.
All right, you're here. So where are you from? what you do, why you join Grid.
All right. I am from Bay Area, working over here as a engineer. And
Oh,
then
nice.
my side gig is investing in real estate.
I just invited Chandni, so she joined she joined on a 1 minute notice.
I know,
Oh,
and I had
well,
no idea. I had no
um,
idea.
Bay
It's
Yeah,
a
she
pole
does not
dance.
know what she's got into right now.
Totally. I'm like, is this a pole dance guest person over here? Is this a real estate? Don't know anything.
Yeah,
But I
who
trust
knows?
you, Manish, so I'm here.
I know Manish is the man. I'm trying to be like him, no problems, you know.
Thank you.
Latrice from our team is here. Queen, go ahead, Queen. Let's see if you could unmute yourself. It's got to be the red button all the way to the left. It's a microphone. There you go.
Hi, I'm Queen Tracy, and I've been with Grid for about a year now. Just getting my feet wet, but now I'm actually getting into the game, and I'm glad you're having this because I do need a team. I have 2 properties. Well, one that I live in, and one I have an investment property that was paid off in November, and so we just got a HELOC off of it. So my husband and I are currently looking for some 4-unit apartment buildings.
Well,
So-
wait no further. I am sending you one right now. Everybody is going to have it at the same time, so don't jump at it.
Also, did I get your story right, Queen? Didn't we chat at that house in Petworth?
Yes,
You and your husband earlier in life did some investing, then you focused on building a family, and now you're a little bit going to try to give it more energy again.
correct.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. I love it. I can relate to that very much, as a dad of 3 kids and with a life partner and lots of comings and goings and priorities and shifts and changes and ebbs and flows. And then you just try to get back to it when you can, and you don't always have money to do it. Especially if you're doing buy and hold, right? You
Yes.
just got your normal job. You're trying to accumulate that cash. 25% down. Woo, is a burden.
Exactly.
Yep.
Ah,
Mhm.
I like the perseverance and the
Maurice.
dedication to getting back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good to see you, Queen.
thank you. You.
Hi, everyone. My name is Margaret Cofield, and I'm a realtor, and I also work as an executive at a government contracting company. My niche is buy and hold. I have 2 properties that are investment properties, and then I have my own house, of course. What am I looking for? Okay, and then I just want to learn. I like to gather information. I've been interested in flipping, but you need income to do that. So I just really want to learn more. So
Wow.
Or use other people's money.
well, that's exactly what I would prefer to
You're
do.
responsible, educated, or look educated. It looks like you all pass those things. So we just need to find people. You just need to talk about it more.
Exactly.
Scott is a man to know for buy holds.
Hi, everybody. I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, I can't figure out the camera while I'm in the car. Anyway, I'm driving. I just want to say hi. So I straddle a couple of different seats. My name is Scott Bloom. I'm a buy and hold real estate investor in DC and the Hampton Roads area. Well, I guess it's all in Virginia Beach now. Carlos is my agent. He's also my client. So I founded Columbia Property Management 11 years ago this month, and we focus on mid to higher end rentals in Washington, DC primarily. Thanks, Nick, for the link. And we are starting to branch out a little bit into near in suburbs of Maryland, primarily PG County so far. So Hyattsville, not Tacoma Park yet, but that's, I think, Montgomery. There's mainly Hyattsville. So we have 3 or 4 properties in Hyattsville that we manage as well. Single family homes, individual condo units, or row houses in DC that have been split up into multiple units. We will manage up to 4 units in one address. We also have a independent, separate handyman company who's great for property management companies looking for reliable vendors, or real estate agents who need people to help finish up a property or prepare it for listing, or even investors who just need somebody to come in after the general contractor does the renovations to do the punch out lists. The name of that company is Koti Property Services, KOTI, and we'd be glad to help you in either direction, or just as far as providing services or advice on what I've learned over the past 20 years that I've had rentals.
All right, bing, bing, bing. Thank you, Scott. And I dropped your info here. And he is usually at our meetup. So the next month we'll be in person, trying to switch it off. So he will be there.
Good timing, Scott, on the shift to Maryland. Go after Virginia as well, please, soon. We'll refer more business to you. I didn't know it about the Maryland initiative. Very glad to hear it. Rents are up, and there's some good options out in the burbs, and this is good timing. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and a lot of people are being priced out of DC, and they're heading into Hyattsville and surrounding areas.
Yep, there's a lot of value in close in Prince George's for sure. Not to mention other parts of Maryland and Virginia. So quick, now we've just shifted into the speed round. Matt, up on your helmet. Here we go. I'm going to ask you questions quickly and ask for very short answers, 3 sentences or less, if possible. Why did that happen the other day? That the Fed raised the rate and the mortgage rates went down. What the heck?
Mortgage market likes to be proactive, not reactive. They knew the Fed rate was going to go up. We focus on what the commentary that the Fed releases of what they're going to do in the future. And that is why rates went down, because it seems like they're going to be loosening up in the near future, or maybe one more hike. That'll probably be it.
Is it fair to say, can I infer from what you said, that when the Fed speaks, it's speaking about that moment, and what markets do is maybe looking at a different moment in time?
Yes, that is fair.
Okay, thank you. And how does where rates are going to be this spring, and say your predictions with regard to, say, the fall later in the year, relate to what you thought last fall was going to happen this spring and this fall?
It's still all about inflation in my world. And as data comes out of inflation, the economy going down a little bit and inflation getting under control, people stop spending money. That's when we're going to see rates fall. We already did see that in early February, when the mortgage market thought the data was going to show that inflation was under control. We got below 6% for the first time since last summer. And then the data came out, supported the other way. So rates shot back up to 7% very quickly. I do believe May has some important data coming out that may drive rates down. So I think we may start to see rates back down into the 5s.
Down into the 5s. Wow. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a question or two about recessions. And Nick, get ready, because I'm going to zap one at you too. But it'll be a softball for you. Recessions and real estate, or recessions and mortgage rates. What of all of this talk about a recession? And how do the potential for a more systemic problem with bank failures, how does that relate to the likelihood of recession? Recession rates, what's the connection?
So when the economy's not doing great, mortgage rates tend to go down, because mortgage-backed securities are typically the safest, the safest form of investment for the big banks and big investors. So when the stock market or just the economy's not doing great, we're shifting money to bonds, and that's when rates start to fall. So recessions are good for interest rates, and that would likely drive rates down again as well.
Well, interest rates going down is good for real estate. So Nick, shifting to you for a minute. He said that recessions are good for rates. But are recessions good for real estate, given that rates being down is typically good for real estate? I'm full of fear. I hear recession. Oh my God, my knees start knocking. Can you see me sweating? Never let them see you sweat. Oh my God, are we going to have a recession? And if so, what's going to happen to real estate if we have one?
Well, recessions, real estate usually does well in recessions.
Wait, a recession's bad, and you're saying good. What? What's going on?
So money becomes easier to access because they're trying to stimulate the economy. So when money is cheaper, people start to use it more, to spend more, because you have more, I wouldn't say more purchasing power, but you have,
You
more.
you do. If rates are down, you have more purchasing power in that in the part that's
There you go. That's right. You do have more purchasing power. So there you go.
Okay, well, what about, wait a minute. But look, for many of us on this call, we have a memory, okay? You think we're not that smart. We have a memory. We remember the Great Recession. Real estate went way down during the Great Recession. What do you mean real estate does well during recessions?
Well, if you look at the statistically over time, as soon as we hit a recession, there's a small bump up in sales activity and sales price.
But what about the Great Recession? Real estate got whacked during the Great Recession.
Tell us.
Pardon?
Are you looking for the Fed, the St. Louis Fed?
Yeah, I'm finding it for you. I'm looking you up, but I'm looking to you for the answer.
Yeah.
I think what Nick wants to tell us is that, oh, here I go, is that, and we presented this before, but we need to get this into our skulls, people. Recessions are generally good for real estate. This is from the St. Louis Federal Reserve. The white going from left to the right is time, right? You see the years. We're covering over, say, 50 years here in our economy. And the gray is recessions, okay? So most of it is white and a little bit of it is gray, which means most of the time we're not in a recession. We're almost never in recession, except in the rare instances where we are. The gray is the recessions. Again, some of the recessions are really skinny. Look at 2020. You see in 2020 how skinny that one was over here? It was very little time. It came and went so quickly. So yes, COVID did kick us for a moment into a recession. Some people are debating whether we're in another one now. Look at the Great Recession over here. That's the thickest band, pretty much, all the way back to over here. I think it is a little thicker than the early 80s recession. And sure enough, during the Great Recession, real estate went down. But for the most part, what we see is that over time, real estate goes up, even during recessions. Matt just said it gets cheaper. So all I'm trying to do is point out something very, very basic that I see PhDs and smarty pants, such a highly educated town. I think we're too easily impressed by how smart people think they are, because I find that actually often they're really not remembering super fundamental and basic facts. And that's the gist of this quick speed round, was just to get you like not reacting completely out of fear and going with groupthink and hearing like a bad word like recession and assuming that with regard to real estate investing anyhow, that you're in trouble. Do recessions involve some pain? Yes. Very importantly, they involve a reassessment, a recalibration among money interests, investors. Imagine that money had a will. Imagine that money was like water, right? And just had to flow somewhere. So during recessions, there's a recalibration of the risk reward sort of formula that any particular group of investors has, or maybe their allocation of resources across the risk reward spectrum. And what ends up happening is, you look at every option. My brother Vinny's restaurant. He's saying he could use another, an addition on his restaurant. He wants me to my 401k, a mutual fund, an individual stock, a startup company of a friend. My uncle wants to buy a house together, or I could buy one by myself, and on and on. Where am I going to put my money? So what happens in a recession is it's a disruption of a basic cycle. I showed you the chart. It was almost all white, right? So fundamentally what that means is our economy is basically always growing. That's the default mode, growth. You have these interruptions. And during those interruptions, the pattern is disrupted people go, huh, maybe now that things have shifted, I should reallocate, recalibrate, reassess. And guess who ends up looking pretty good when people make that assessment or that recalibration? Real estate. It's viewed, I think people feel in their belly, it's relatively safe. They can touch it, they can feel it, they can enter it, they can use it. It's got this utility to it. It's very, 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 very relatable. It's not abstract. And we're just animals, right? So we go towards real estate often, and investors do too. Not just Joe Sixpack or Jill Main Street, but like, you know, smarty pants people in, you know, fancy office towers who are running the numbers and recalibrating their allocation as well.
So just to build on that, today on CNBC, I mean, obviously I'd said this before, but there's 5 million people turning 30 every single year, and all those people need a place to live. So they said that the East Coast, there's been no slowdown in real estate, although the West Coast has kind of slowed down on the demand. So whether there's a recession or not, it's all about leverage. And right now people need places to stay. Now, are they going to pay you the price that you're looking for with the rates being at 7%? You know, I don't know, but there's plenty. I mean, I have a ton of listings, and I had a house that was the highest for the comp. It went under contract this weekend. But that's not the point. The point is that, again, 5 million people are turning 30 every year. All those people are newly married. They're having kids. They don't want to stay in apartments and condos. They all want to move into a single, either a townhouse or a house. So there's always going to be demand, Carlos, and there's a shortage of housing. So I wouldn't be worried about the recession at all.
What do you mean a shortage of housing? Anybody else here think there's a shortage of housing?
Definitely a shortage of housing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been statistically proven all across the nation that there's especially affordable housing shortage.
So
I think that's how we started, that teachers and regulation and short-term rentals, right?
yeah, not to mention actually like Silicon Valley and Wall Street going in there and buying like neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think of those institutional investors as only wanting to buy like residential towers, but they're like buying in the suburbs now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've moved down.
It's
Yeah.
really we're in a cycle that's very bad with regard to the sustainability of supply. If you own real estate, it's really good. Okay, but for society, not so much. You know, where the investors know about the scarcity, so they invest in the real estate because it's scarce, and they compound the scarcity because of their ability to buy so much. You know, the Smiths, the Robinsons down the street, you can buy a house or two, but you know, XYZ Millennium Falcon, you know, razor sharp sharky mofos, you know, those guys, they can buy, I don't know, dozens, hundreds, thousands of houses. So they really soak up so much inventory, and they, in a way, they can make a market that they're in. They could add to scarcity, thereby making their own asset more valuable. It's kind of scary, the amount of impact that they can have on the market, and it's not positive. And you know, no offense to anyone who's involved in any of that stuff, but you know, we're just onesie twosies here. My daughter will definitely tell me that you know, I definitely contribute to the problems around gentrification as an investor myself, or a realtor, or you know, the consolidation of wealth. That's true, but the scale at which some of these institutions are doing that is mammoth. And hopefully, by the way, those of us who are playing a part in exacerbating some of these problems are also trying to do good in other ways. Hopefully you guys are. Certainly, we try to think of things that we can do on our team and as individuals. We take that pretty seriously.
So, Carlos, we talked a little bit about the market and how to take your unfair share when the market is going down or just at a slight rebound, right? You think recession, you think, oh no, hands off, but that's when people start making money. 07, 08, that's when property was bought and you're like, man, there was a moment in time I could have stretched myself and bought property. This is the time. So we talked about the market. I want to shift into quizzing Matt a little bit. If we could finish this fire round about his team and how he assembles, because believe it or not, Matt has a team behind him. So first question I have, again, rapid answers. How did you get started in lending, Matt?
So I was in another financial service field, working in Bethesda, kind of hit the ceiling. A friend of mine was doing this right out of college, was always in my ear that I'd be good at it. Learned a little bit more, realized I can help people get in position to, get to one of the best days of their lives, and took the plunge and have been doing it for 9 years.
And you're your own business owner. So the checks look good, but you got to work damn hard for it. It's not a regular 9 to 5, right?
That's right. Nope. Always open. No, never close the doors. Always got to have my phone attached to my hip. Got to be answering the phone. Providing the best service I possibly can, because we don't have billboards, we don't have commercials. It's all about doing a perfect job for my client every single time, so that that snowballs into more business.
That's what I love about Matt. He's open. He's a real down to earth guy, and he's available, even though he has a growing family.
Yeah.
What do you learn about teamwork, especially now that you're a father of 2, and getting deals done as a lender, and how does it relates to teamwork?
Well, I think you just hit it. I think it starts with at home. My wife is one of my biggest team members, and I know you and Carlos as well. Without coordinating schedules and her handling the kids tonight, allowing me to be here, that's where it starts. You got to have communication with any team member you work with. My team, I have my right hand man Michael that handles kind of estimates and pre-approvals and a lot of the upfront grunt work. I have a processor that once we go under contract, she starts to document gather so that we can submit a loan to underwriters. We have, even further up the scale, we have a head of our capital markets department that just came on last year that used to work at Black Knight. He's a big part of our team at First Home, because he is always trying to bring in new loan products and get us the best rates on any given day. So there's,
you have First Home as the umbrella. You have Matt, who has his own business. He has his left-hand man to kind of help the front-facing end of it, right? The client, you're the client relations, and he does the back work.
Yeah.
Underwriter. So what does the underwriter do?
Underwriter just stamps the file that we put in front of her. So, my job is to
make sure that matches up, right, with the guidelines of your investors, right?
Exactly.
That you're packaging loans and
so that we don't have another mortgage meltdown like we did back in 2008. That's what the underwriter's job is to do. Make sure we're not handing out crappy loans anymore. So, but all of our underwriting's done in-house. Anytime there's an issue or question, my underwriter comes to me and talks it out. It's not like we send a file out to Iowa to be underwritten at some call center. It's all done in-house, and the communication couldn't be better.
And then you have the processor, and you said that helps make sure all the files are done.
Yeah. So processor is basically gathering everything that she thinks the underwriter's gonna need, and I'm very much involved in that, but she does a lot of the stuff that allows me to go out and meet with people and be the client relations part of this transaction.
Oh, thank God. And the last question: what is a story, a successful teamwork in your mind when you're working with a client, investor, or buyer of teamwork? Do you have any example stories that you could share?
I actually was going to do the other way. I have an example of when it wasn't successful.
Right.
I had a realtor submit an offer without telling me, did a timeline that didn't work with the loan product. I got the ratified contract. The timeline didn't work with the loan product we were going for. And the clients hadn't seen the numbers yet. So I sent them the numbers. They didn't like them and ended up backing out of the contract. So that's where I think the teamwork behind this really comes into play of communicating at all times with your lender, making sure we have the right timelines, making sure the client sees the numbers before they write, because most of you guys are investors. You want to make sure what you're investing in, the numbers make sense to do it. So communication and working together up front before you go under contract is, I think, a huge part of it on my side.
I appreciate it, Matt, and you definitely want to see the numbers before you enter in. You got to know the terms of the deal, how much monthly payment, how much money you're going to be putting down, whether it's you or your partner. And I think a partner is a huge aspect, especially when you're investing, right? All this money, with your partner,
especially with how volatile the market is too. I mean, rates can be, last 2 days ago they were at 6.25. Today they were at 6.75. So they're swinging wildly right now.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you, Matt. We will be around maybe in the end for 5-10 minutes for questions for Matt. Matt, if you could drop your Calendly link and your info, that would be great. Matt is a great lender. He does loans for not only residential, but for fixer-uppers. They have a in-house team that does a Fannie Mae or FHA 203K renovation loan, and they have an in-house guy that underwrites that and has recommended contractors. So I think, Malik, if you are looking to do a rehab and live in it, this is your guy. You can refinance. There are refinance options.
Hey, you guys, I have a dear family member who needs to have an important surgery soon. Could somebody in this meeting just recommend, just a surgeon, any surgeon? Just as fast as you can. Whether they're good or not, isn't the key. Okay. So what Matt tells us, pardon?
I said that depends on the surgery.
Yeah, it depends on the surgery. And also, I probably should take my time to find an appropriate surgeon and a good one. The point is, this might not be life or death, but in your financial self, an investment in a piece of real estate odds are it's going to be one of your bigger investments. A home purchase is probably going to be one of your bigger lifestyle purchases. And you ought to work with killers, people who are really, really good. Okay. Maybe that's a bad analogy. Just awesome professionals. I think with Matt, it's his intelligence, his responsiveness. Nick mentioned his openness. He's very, very open to learning new things. His energy, it helps to be around people you enjoy. And so just remember, I said that when you're building your team, don't just find anybody. There are plenty of people who are adequate with the credential and convenient, like they're right there. They're nearby. You could talk to them on Wednesday. It'd be fast. But you may as well go about this process of building your team with some purposefulness, and starting with someone like Matt is a good idea.
Thank you for the kind words.
All sincerity.
All right, Manish. Manish, we're going to spitfire, and Carlos, feel free, please, to interject and ask questions to Manish. How did you start off How did you start off investing in short-term rentals?
Hello, everyone. So I started investing in short-term rentals in Snowshoe, West Virginia, and that was more of a vacation home where my family and we wanted to ski, and that was my first condo investment in Snowshoe in 2016. And as things will progress, I ended up doing well in terms of renting it and also enjoying it, and that increased my interest, and my short-term rental portfolio grew after that.
Wow, I didn't know it was 2016. How many units did you wind up getting at the peak under management?
Snowshoe, I think usually I manage and own anywhere from 50 to 60 units.
Wow, that's rapid.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what is your portfolio? I mean, I guess bottom line, how did you scale? I mean, what was your team look like before, and what does your team look like now?
I think that's a great question. I always keep trying to find more people. So I'll take a step back. So currently my portfolio includes short-term rentals, development projects in DC. Currently I'm doing a condo conversion and a 4 townhome development in DC. I have traditional rentals, and Nick, I'm still acquiring. I think I have another property under contract. We finished a few acquisitions in Las Vegas. So basically, what's happening is it is expanding quite a bit, and that means I just don't have the skills or the abilities to be able to do a lot of things myself. Even if I try, I just fail all the time, right? So to supplement that failure, I'm always trying to find out people who can do a job better than I do, whether it is a lawyer like Carlos, whether it is a realtor like you, whether it's a handyman, or designers, virtual assistants. And as the scale grows, I think you need those professionals to be really good in certain categories. One person cannot do everything. So I'm constantly hiring or collaborating with people, at the same time falling short all the time too. Right now I'm struggling with, I think the other day I was asking you if I can get like a project manager for my DC jobs, because if I have a development project going on in DC and I'm in North Carolina, then it becomes difficult for me to coordinate that thing. If I have a great deal coming in DC and I don't have a good realtor like you, then and I'm somewhere else, then it would be very difficult for me to get that deal. But to really, really answer your question, actually, the way it grew for me is actually having some really good realtors, and no one paid me for telling me this on this call, but I had some really good realtors in Snowshoe in North Carolina who would just know what deal I want, and they will just find it. And I would say 70% of the properties I have bought, I never saw them before closing.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And and this is the level of trust and, also your realtor knowing what you want. Meaning, I think I did a $2 million purchase from Pacific Ocean when I had not seen the property. I had bought another property from
Are you analyzing the deal? Do you analyze the deal? Do you have contractors look at it? Do you have other people that help you fund?
Well, meaning I do not
Like,
have.
let's take the North or the Las Vegas example.
Mhm.
How did you, I guess, trust these people? You went to Las Vegas because that's the most recent story. I'm thinking, how were you able to see the opportunity? And I'm assuming you have like contractors that kind of help you if there's any renovation.
So Las Vegas was a little bit different. It was primarily, again, a collaboration with the realtor to find properties which will meet my goals. So, a lot of times people are looking for 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. So what I'm personally looking for in a vacation rental is, is this a place where I would want to come, and then can it make money? So if those two criteria are clear, and I can put it into service, I would basically buy that property. So my investment goal was met. And I think when I looked at the property, it was in good condition. I got the videos, the photos, and everything. And I have backend data, and I was also able to get numbers from the property manager saying, hey, if you do this, this is what you're going to make. And therefore, it just becomes a pure investment decision. If the numbers can work, and I love the property, the location is good, and I did not need any renovation on that. I think there was another one I bought which needed some updates, but I just requested my realtor to coordinate all of that. So I did not actually see the property till I closed it. And by the way, before I closed it, I had already got rentals of $10,000 before closing.
Like bookings?
Because I was able to list it. I'm sorry?
So you already marketed it before you had it under contract.
I knew what date it will be closed. So basically, as long as I have photos and videos and I can market it on, VRBO, Airbnb, I just have to put a closing date. I have to market it on dates after I close, and then I just go patients. So meaning that's how before closing I had reservations for at least $10,000. So I do a few things well, but most of the time it's the team I have. In that case, Las Vegas example, the realtor was really good, identifying because we started this conversation saying, hey, there is regulation. So regulation is coming in Las Vegas too. But there are only 3 buildings in the entire Las Vegas where you don't have that regulation. One is the Trump Tower, the other is the MGM, and the third is Palms, right? So if your realtor knows that's what they have to bring to you, and that's what not will be, under any kind of scrutiny by regulator, then you start well. And then they know that you're an investor, you're looking for certain amount of numbers, and you put all those cash flows together. And if I can make money at the end of the day, that's what I look as an investor in that opportunity.
Now, my last question is that since you started, let's say in 2016, you've been the front operations, but you told me that now you're trying to be not 1 call away, but 2 or 3 calls away, basically scaling your business.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So I think in a new market, I do have to initially put a little more effort, but I do have my team of virtual assistants. I have my maintenance and cleaning staff. And, for example, in snowshoe business, this year, since February, I have never taken a call from a customer directly. I have trained my team to basically be able to handle those. And most of the time, the way it works is they will deal with the customer, they will deal with, but I make myself available as a consultant and coach to them every day. So I would spend an hour every day, really helping them with their skills and providing them that ownership so that they can understand what my criteria is, what I'm looking for. And that allows me to be a step away, and then they will coordinate with my maintenance and,
That's a hard stop. 1 hour a day, you're investing in their success. So it is a teamwork. You have whatever you put in is what you get out of it. If you don't put anything into your team, you're not going to get anything out of it. Oh, you didn't do that right. I'm going to find another contractor. Oh, you overcharged me. You could be very short-sighted and easily just swipe. I mean, Carlos was just giving me a real-life example of a good friend of ours that was about to say, it's just getting so sticky because they miscommunicated that it's easy just to let them go. But with teamwork, you have to really work at it, especially when these longer, high-stake deals, whatever you put into it is what you get out of it. And that is true for virtual assistants, for your marketing team, for your contractors, for your architects. You got to interview them. Once you select something, you have to work them. You have to hold them accountable. This is what you said you were going to do. Why didn't you do it? These are difficult conversations you have to have. I mean, Carlos was on the phone today with our sales team, holding everybody accountable. Manish is doing it every day, or during the work week, holding their people accountable. That is huge. And I'm sure Matt has a similar system where you're holding your people accountable. If they make a mistake, you have to tell them. And they want to hear that, hopefully, because you're a team. I gave a seller honest feedback today. I said, hey, man, don't choose this tile next time. He says, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Because it's transparency, and that's what you have to do with teamwork. That's the way you're going to win. And you have to be honest with one another because you're in these relationships. Now, I know we're coming short on time. I know we said we were going to keep it an hour. Carlos, I want you to talk to Jad. I think people really want to hear Jad's story about flipping homes and what his team looks like and what teamwork looks like, because I know Jad, and I know he can't do it on his own.
Sure. Chad, maybe you can tell us about your team and then also how you're feeling about the market now versus just a little while ago.
I mean, like, as you guys know, I flipped a lot of houses, like close to 42 in 1 year. And so, you know, what's the most important thing for a team? You know, one, you have to find houses. I bought a lot of houses sight unseen, and it works, but it also doesn't work. Like, so let's say that's kind of like a broad answer. I think that if you're going to flip houses, let's just say you want to do one house every 2 months. If you can do one house every 2 months and you only make 50,000, you're still making a good extra 300,000 to supplement your income. So you don't have to do 42 at a time. But for a good team, you need to have, if you can buy houses sight unseen, then you really don't need that. But I strongly suggest that you have, because agents are kind of smart. If they're going to sell houses super low and they're trying to get people to bid it up and buy it sight unseen, it's because there's major issues for the most part. If you're buying houses from wholesalers and you don't have time to go see the house, I've got 2 houses from wholesalers. One, I bought a house that had no water in the home, like the well was completely dry. And the other house I bought from a wholesaler on Facebook, again, I bought it sight unseen. There was a $35,000 septic problem. So, my point is, for a dream team, if you can get someone on your team that can go and actually see these houses, so you're not buying them sight unseen. And then once you do buy the houses, a good contractor will make or break you. I have a house that I bought out in Annapolis. I got it really good. I got it like the first day it came on the market. I got it for $290. The ARV was $500,000. I think it was like 1218 Hampton Place. It's in Annapolis. And this gentleman was recommended on Facebook. Another agent said this guy was amazing. He'd done several houses. He even had pictures of the stuff he did on the MLS. So of course I used him. And because it was all the way in Annapolis, I wanted someone that was local to Annapolis. And I paid him $80,000. His work was garbage, just garbage. The bathrooms he didn't really remodel. He did like plastic acrylic. He didn't even know how to do tiling properly. His flooring, people said that the flooring gave him motion sickness. The backsplash was crooked. Because like I had been spoiled. Like some of the other contractors I use, I don't even see the houses. Like they go do all the work. I pay them. I have someone to take pictures, they list it, and that's it. So the next biggest thing is contractors, and having a contractor stay within his budget. And so for me to flip that many houses, I have contractors in Baltimore. I have a contractor in DC. I have a contractor in Fredericksburg. So I have 4 different contractors that I can trust to go do the entire thing without me being there.
I'll say this. I'm just going to say, Jad operates at a very high level, but you're hearing the elements. You've got the real estate team scouting out the opportunities. You've got the contractors. You've got the money people. And you probably also need just a good friend who may be any one of those things or none of those things to bounce ideas off of. Someone to check you for sure.
So let's talk about the title company. So if you're for the title company and you need someone that's going to do it fast, there's people that recommend. I like Cosmopolitan out of Fairfax. They're dysfunctional a little bit, but they will never kill your deal, and they can do it fast. So like if you have a wholesaler selling you a deal, they'll make it work. If you have let's say right now I put an offer on a house and it's all cash, but I'm really going to use hard money on the back end, right? Well, like with other title companies, they might tell the other agent, oh, hey, by the way, do you know that this isn't cash, this is hard money? Or hey, do you know that we're going to be doing this or doing that? Like they're very private. You email the processor directly, you have the money get wired in from the hard money lender. No one is really the wiser. If the lender doesn't want title insurance, they're not going to ask them to put title insurance for the hard money lender. Like, I just think Cosmo, they don't do Qualia. I don't really like Qualia, although it's kind of like, I'm kind of old school. And so I recommend Cosmopolitan out of Fairfax. It's owned by this lady named Des. And I like them because whenever you call, they always pick up. And they'll protect investors and they can close quickly. And then on the And then for the hard money, now hard money is going to make or break you guys when it comes to investment team. Because like I try to use Temple of You. So when I was flipping those 42 houses, I tried to use
Yeah, Cherie's listening carefully to you. You know she's a hard money.
So I'm going to tell you, I've used Temple. I've used almost every hard money lender in the DC. So I made it a point to use all the different hard money lenders just to see what they were like. And do you guys know, everyone on this call, what's going to be your biggest thing for using hard money? What do you guys think is going to be your biggest issue with hard money lenders? Does anyone have any answers for that?
Well, can you give us a hint, like whether it's about?
I'm going to tell you timing. What do you think is the biggest issue with hard money lenders and timing? What do you guys think it's going to be?
Whether they can analyze and decide whether to lend you the money quickly.
So some hard money lenders require an appraisal. So like Temple of You, they used to charge me like 8 and 1. They charged me nothing. But sometimes it would take 21 days to get an appraisal done, even if I paid the extra $1,000 to do a rush delivery. And so the biggest thing that you're going to have, like WCP, who I love dearly, I haven't done a deal with them yet, but they charge you up front, I think, some type of junk fees. And then if you do the appraisal with them, if you do the, they're going to charge you $1,000 up front for the appraisal, whether the deal goes through or not. So it's all about, now right now it's a good time because the refinancing market has gone down by 86%, right? So that means the appraisers have nothing going on. So if you want an appraisal, like I just flipped a house in Upper Marlboro, the appraisal was done in less than 5 days. So that's no longer an issue. But you guys want to, before you sign up with a hard money lender, how quickly can they get the appraisal done? That's step one.
Can I just interrupt you? You guys are noticing, right? This is a high volume flipper, Jad, who is, it's almost like with regard to almost every professional in his team that he mentioned, speed was important. So I'm not saying that you need to move at light speed, but I am saying that if you want to win, and what if Jad is analyzing the deal too, that this is how the successful people do it. So how do you do something fast without screwing it up? It's a major question. And I think in Jad's case, he values speed very much, but he also knows process is process. And he's got a team of professionals who can get him through it relatively quickly. I think some of that is them understanding the need for speed and meeting the client where the client needs to be met.
Yeah, I mean, you have to trust your hard money lender. Like there's certain hard money lenders that I know might crush me, but I know they can close, right? Like I know that I might get charged 12 and 3, but I know that like if I don't, like if like my cheaper money doesn't come through, I have that as a fallback. You know what I mean? But appraisal is going to be your first thing. How long will the appraisal take? And then the other thing that you have to learn about with hard money, Nick, I think the gentleman with the snowshoe, I think you might want to meet him. The snowshoe picture. I think he's just like, he's on and he keeps on. Yeah, and so hard money is going to be your next thing. And then contractor is going to be critical. What I look for all the investors out here that are worried about going, don't worry about making a profit at first. If I act really fast, it's just to say, at the very least, am I not going to lose money? If I know I won't lose money on a house, then I'll take the chance. Obviously, like I'm looking to make between 50 to 80,000 on a flip, but I mean more obviously, but at a minimum, you want to try to make 50,000. Because if you try to make 30, you're going to make 0 because something's going to come up, home inspection, stuff that you weren't expecting. A lot of us got lucky in 2021 and after COVID, because even if we did make mistakes, properties kept appreciating. So it made up for any mistakes that we did in analyzing the ARV. But now we're getting punished. Like I had a house, you guys want to look up 7601 Gambier? This is a really good case study, Nicholas, if you want to share the screen on this one. 7601 Gambier Drive, Upper Marlboro. Do you want to look it up? So this is a house that I bought for 290. 7601 Gambier, Gambier. So this is a home that I bought for 290,000. It was from another agent in our brokerage, and this is a house that I had on the market for 499,000. The ARV should be around 425, but I had it at 499. And then, is that it? Maybe it's the, let me see 1 second. Yeah, go back. It has 2 links. Click on the one below it, please. Okay, yeah, this one. So this one, I had it listed at 499, and it was obviously a little bit high because I had a lot of interest in the coming soon, right? And I had it staged by a lady named Brittany. She only charged me $1,500. She did a really good job. I was happy with her staging. This house was a little bit, I told you about this house that the water meter was stolen off the house. So pro tip for everyone on this call, if your water meter is stolen off your home and PG comes and you've already started doing work on the inside of your house, you're going to get a stop work order and it's going to take you 6 months to remove it. So pro tip, if your electrical panel or if your water meter is taken off of any of your properties, before you start any work inside, make sure that it's replaced. Replace your water meter, replace your electrical meter, then start any work inside. But if they come to replace it and they see that you've started demoing, a big red tape sticker is going to go right in the front of your door. So, but that's not the point. The point of this house is that when I listed it, I had 2 offers at 485,000, right, Nicholas? But with this current market, they didn't lock in their rate yet. Maryland has a first-time home buyer program where they'll guarantee your down payment or some type of program where they guarantee your stuff.
Maryland mortgage.
Camille, they steal water meters because of the copper. So I got 2 offers at 485. Here's the problem. They didn't lock in their rate, and their rates are 7%. So the problem that we're going to have right now as rehabbers is that people are willing to pay 485 for this house, but they're on fixed incomes and they don't have the money to, they don't have the income to support 485,000. So I sold this house for 468. I had to give 3% seller help because everyone wanted to buy it, but they couldn't qualify at the current market rate. So in regards to ARVs and investment teams, like you guys just need to know in certain areas, the 7% is really hurting people. That end. So for my dream team,
What are rates at now, Matt? And do you have Chad's information? Because Matt could do pricing sheets so they're not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, so let me just tell you something about that. So the lady who submitted the offer on Sunday for 484, she was like, I worked with my lender. He has never let me down, and they close 100%. If my lender says that, she goes, I'm not no chauffeur. I'm not some Uber driving people from property to property. I was like, damn, this lady is serious, right? And there was another offer that was like 10,000 less. So then I went and told the other agent was so aggressive too. He's a Greek guy like you, Nicholas. Super aggressive, texting me 20 times, right? But I'm like, I'm going to get 484. And then she needs lesser sell help, right? So I just kind of ghosted the other guy. And so that was Sunday night. Monday morning comes around. She calls me at 12. She said, Chad, unfortunately, they don't lock in their rate. And now that they see what their payments are going to be, they can't perform. So I had to go back.
What I'm hearing is you need a preferred lender for all your flips.
I do need a preferred lender because if I had just showed them like what the rates are, but let me just tell you, so I had to go back to the Greek guy, and the Greek guy was like, you know, I can't tell you what he said. It was a lot of curse words, but I had to humble myself because I had done like 6 open houses for this house trying to get my price. So I just swallowed my pride and called him, said, does your client still want it?
Sometimes you got to come back to the guy who was trying to lowball you. So
yeah, you got to come back to him.
Look, guys, we are over time, and I'm actually at my time limit. I'm just going to make an offer. Take seriously the building of your team. Just today, a bunch of agents on our team, our sales team, were sending around referrals of various professionals so that each of the realtors on our team could build out their team of professionals. Nick and I were on another, reply all text where the same thing was happening at our brokerage level. We have 400 or 500 realtors. And so we are viewed as a resource to 400 or 500 realtors. We can certainly help you guys. And we're going to do it thoughtfully. If you say I need a contractor, I'm not going to just send you somebody. I might want to talk to you about what your scenario is. because different contractors have different strengths. Jad has them in different locations, for example, and so forth. So please come to us with any need to help you build out your team. We would love to help you do that. It could even be in another jurisdiction. We have partners in other states who either are partners we can refer you directly to or have resources themselves. And then finally, we didn't really get to cover the weird, janky market, but if anyone here would like to have a small session, maybe like 3 of you, or I don't know how many, would like a quick breakdown of the various contradictory data points that we're seeing in the market. Things like, demand being down in certain recent months, 25, 35, 45% some months. I mean, major chunks of the demand side just evaporated. And yet values have not sunk like a stone, but they have gone down a little bit in certain jurisdictions, and they're up a good bit, like 11%, comparing February of this year to February of last year in Montgomery County, down 7% in DC. If you want more of that data so that you can zero in on the part of the market that you're focused on, or the question that you've got, or the thing you heard at the dinner party, someone talking like they know, but they really don't know. They really don't know. They really don't know. A lot of smart people just saying a lot of stuff that they think, but they don't know. I'm here to tell you that, because I do that all the time. I'm just like, oh my God, this guy does not know and he's so impressive that he's really throwing people off the scent, but it's hard to know. And they're saying this about the economy in general, right? We're in this era now where almost like the new normal is like there's no normal. It's like everything's all sort of off kilter. And within the real estate portion of our economy, that's true as well. So it's easy to have the wrong impression. So our offer to you is, if you want some help building a team, just text us, email us, get to us somehow. And if you would like a quick tutorial on some of the market data, very specific. We won't be saying things are good or bad. No words like that. We'll be saying 7.2%, 25.7%. We'll communicate it to you in numbers, charts, and graphs. Please just tap us and let us know. These meetings don't go long enough for us to cover all of it all the time, but that's our standing offer to you. And if you don't hit us up soon, then we'll see you around the bend at the next Tuesday meeting of this grid group, which is when, Nick?
It's going to be, I wanted to take a poll. It's Tuesday, April 18th, but more than likely it will be on Sunday during the day. I would like to do that in person instead of the 18th. I'm looking at the 23rd or the 16th, a Sunday. So look out for updates. It's going to be in person at one of our projects, either somewhere in DC.
We got lucky last time. The last one we did in person on a Sunday at a property, like some people, neighbors walking by thought it was a normal open house, and they come on in and they see people having refreshments and like in a circle, like a panel discussion, people raise, they're like, what the heck is this? It was cool. We did it. It was very tangible, see the results of what an investor has done. And it puts you right inside the project. A lot of fun, and we got lucky, and hopefully we'll get lucky again with the weather. That was a glorious early spring day. Hopefully we'll get lucky. But if not, we'll be in a beautiful environment with refreshments, and we'll take care of you. So stay tuned as to whether it's going to be Tuesday like normal, or maybe we'll do a little pivot to a weekend in person.
All right, I'm going to hang around for some questions. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, everybody. I've got some emails coming through, so we'll set up a time next week to talk about the market and debate, because Carlos likes a good debate. Sheree, where are you specifically? Are you in DC?
Nick, I think I saw that Sheree left.
Oh, did she? She posted and then she left. So Matt, what are we looking at rates?
Industry average, let's see, 6.6% today. The quotes I've been sending today are closer to low sixes, high fives. So
wait, say that one more time.
Without points, yeah, right around 6.25. Yeah.
What is this chart? Could you explain this to me? I guess it's right. So what the hell happened? Look at this. Look at this. Before the week, so the bank news came out.
Yep.
Got scared. It went from 6% or 5.6 up to 6. And this is for a 10-day lock, I guess, and a 90-day lock. This is a pricing for Fannie Mae.
I don't know what I'm looking at here. 30-year fixed.
Fannie Mae single family 30-year fixed. Mandatory.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like it's probably loan
for AA credit.
So scroll down. Let me see
But it looks like about right 5.942, which is high fives.
Yeah.
For perfect credit AA. So it's right. So what the hell? We went from, because I've been looking at this data. What started off on the first 6.25. Then it goes almost to 6.5 in a day. So a quarter point just in a day. Why is it fluctuating so much?
Volatility is, bank failures, just data coming out with inflation. It's been, we've been volatile for since the pandemic, but especially right now, the mortgage market just cannot get a grip on where they want to price things. So, I'm having those that are looking for homes right now, I'm having calls with them almost daily, at least every couple of days, just to let them know where rates are on that day. Because, a quote you get Monday isn't good on Thursday. But yeah, we are seeing some wild swings. That's for sure. Like today was a bad day. Yesterday and today were not great days for mortgage rates because the kind of fear of bank failures kind of went away a little bit. So investors shifted back to more risky assets, which is away from mortgage-backed securities, and that drove up interest rates. It's crazy that bank failures you would think aren't good for mortgage rates, but they actually are good for a lender like myself.
Say that line one more time because I think that's important.
Yeah, bank failures are just like economic uncertainty is good for mortgage rates. That drives rates down.
Yeah, because it drives. Yeah, so the riskier when rates.
It drives people back to the safest investment, which is mortgage-backed securities. Mm-hmm. I do not do commercial mortgages. Someone asked that in the chat box. We only do
niche.
Niche, yes. We only do residential mortgages, so 4-unit and under homes.
So follow up. I think most of my investments are actually, I almost have zero residential loans. All of them are in LLCs, and I do commercial mortgages. Do you have someone you can recommend because I think especially from a business perspective, I'm just trying to do it right from a liability and everything's structure point of view.
Yeah.
So that's why I prefer commercial mortgages. That the property and all of my properties are, bought based on numbers, so they should have the income. Otherwise, I'm not interested in buying anything. So if the property can service the debt and make me money, that is the only property I'm interested in.
Sure. Yeah, if you have a good commercial lender, I'm happy to recommend. I do have people ask about that every now and
then. My commercial lender currently is limited to West Virginia, and then I think because of the relationship, sometimes they go out of the state for me. But if anybody needs some good commercial lender in West Virginia, I can recommend.
Malik, what are you trying to get into? Are you doing a commercial deal, or are you still sticking with residential money? Or are you doing hard money?
At this point, residential. I I have a relationship with one hard money lender, but it's never a bad thing to add more relationships and more team members. Right now, I want to get back to. I think I've taken a break from really like underwriting deals and deeply analyzing potential projects. So I want to get back to that first, so I feel more confident in my analysis, and then I'll start to have those conversations with lenders as to taking down another project. Hopefully, do an acquisition within the next 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm. And what's your next buy? What's in the buy box?
Well, I'm trying to redetermine that. It's funny that Jad threw up that project that went sour. So the flip we did in Tenleytown went pretty well for the reasons he listed. Kind of got burned on construction, had to fire the original agent, fire the original contractor, but because of the way the market went, we were able to get out of it with a good profit. But
thank goodness, just in time. You like literally finished the race.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we also have another project that's still on the market that did not make that initial cut. It's also a slightly strange property.
What's that?
Address is 901-903 Hamilton Street, Northwest.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Oh, I've got near and dear in my heart. I know exactly. You were with our people, right? With Keller Williams.
Yeah. So we were listing. We had the property listed with Coalition Properties most of last year. We recently made a change just to shake things up. But
you were right. What did you say at first? You were like, it's an interesting property, and Matt
yeah.
Like, you said interesting. You said something like it's unique. And
yeah.
What is it? Because you should advertise this. This guy, I'll send it to him. He just pinged me about multi-units. It's a multi-unit.
Right.
It's a 2-unit.
No, technically it isn't.
Oh.
So I got it. I mean, to be honest, I jumped into real estate. I definitely jumped into the deep end. Both projects were probably are not the kind of projects you'd recommend for rookies. The Tenleytown flip, we added a floor. I think we added like 1,200 total square feet. It was basically a new build by the time we were done.
Wow.
This project.
Are you
This
serious?
project needed a condo conversion, and I wasn't aware of the process for condo conversion when we started, so we never actually got it done. But it looks great. It's 6 months and maybe like $10K. You can convert it into condos and rent them separately. Well, you can rent them separately now, but you could sell them separately after that process. We just didn't get that done in time.
Remind me, what are you selling? Is it 2 different houses? Are you selling them individually as a total?
Oh no, they're so we have to sell them combined. So I think it's 1249.
One C of O.
Yes.
Huh.
Very nice.
You should contact my guy Gene. Probably good. Why can't you get a C of O for the next one just for rental purposes?
I hadn't looked into doing that.
You should contact my guy Gene.
Gene
will straighten you out. Yeah. And I'm so any foreign investors that approach you, because the reason I'm asking is because I have a project around there coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to sell it as a package, but they're going to be about $2 million for the whole 2.3. And so we're going to package it up. But my buddy sold a 2-unit for 1.38, 3-bedroom, 3.5 up, 3.5, 3-bed, 3.5 down. Got a cash offer, but it was in Parkview, so a little bit different. This is your guy. You should talk to him about getting a business like the C of O. He's like, you just send him the addresses, send him high-level questions. he'll see if you could do it. But if you get a C of O for the second one, Matt's our guy. Can you qualify the income of the second unit towards the first for the purchase if it's a 2-unit but no C of O?
We gotta have it has to be zoned as a 2-unit. If it's a 1-unit with accessory unit, we cannot use the income from the accessory unit. It has to be zoned as a 2-unit property.
Malik, you know if it's zoned as a 2-unit? Here, I could check it out.
You're not sure.
Matt, this is Latrice. I'm looking forward to meeting you on Thursday. And Nick, I'm
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
Me too, Latrice. Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Yeah, Malik, contact Gene. Gene is the man. He does very well via email. He's from New York. He's a straight shooter. I think he's got a young kid. No, does he? No, I think his last kid just graduated. So he's almost retiring. So I'm trying to like squeeze out as much work. He does all my business licenses for me, and he does the whole inspection thing. And he just charges a few $100 to do it.
Nice.
What is it? 901?
901-903 Hamilton Street, Northwest. So maybe it's just under, hyphen 903.
Oh, weird.
So yeah, interesting property.
Does it have 2 meters?
2 gas, 2 electric, 1 water. We have a third party split on the water.
If you have 2 meters,
I think you should be fine.
Yeah.
So under FHA requirements, you don't have to do a self-sustainability test for 2 units. So basically the person could qualify on the rent of the other one. What is it? 2 bedrooms each, or one's 3-bedroom, one's 2-bedroom?
One's 3, one's 2.
So you live in the 2, qualify the 3, market rate's like $3,000. You take what, 75% of that, Matt?
Right. Yep.
Qualify the income. I sold a 2-unit and it was about $1 million. Small, 1,700 square feet. And I have another one going on. We're pricing about 1.2. I mean, that's where it's at. Is this residual income? I'm sure you'll find a buyer. It's just a weird market.
Mm-hmm.
I will. What's your email? I'll send you Gene's, or did you take down Gene's info?
Got it. But I'll drop my email all the same.
Cool.
Yeah. Any leads?
Yeah, I'll definitely show it. I have a client looking. What is it? 1.25. Does that have parking?
1 space on the blue side.
Nice.
You should market the 2-1 buy down for it too if they haven't already. Malik, the 2-1 buy down is you'd have to basically give a 2.25% credit as the seller to the buyer to basically buy down the rate by 2 full percentage points in the first year. So, the person that's getting a 6.5 rate, the first year, the rate's actually 4.5%. So it's a really good tool to help move listings that may have been on the market for an extended period of time like this without dropping the price. I mean, technically to you, you're, dropping the price because you're giving that credit, but you don't have to drop the price on the MLS.
Gotcha. I think my agent
they probably were.
Yeah.
Any good agent knows about it and is using that as a tool before dropping the price.
Right.
Yeah, Michael Hines is good. That's who I saw it. Yeah, right? Michael Hines?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Carlos and him just went to a basketball game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I was just on the phone with him as he was leaving a Wizards game, so maybe that was the same game.
Yeah. Yeah,
Michael was the one who recommended I joined this call. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Harrison pretty well too.
Oh, Harrison Beecher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw him and his partners Saturday. They had a like an anniversary party for forming coalition. Yeah. All four of them. I met Keith first, Keith James, and bought my first two houses with him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith is an animal, man. We started.
Yeah. Yeah. Good guy to work with. I tell all my friends he's people considering buying. He's a closer. That's what he'll do.
That's true. That is true. He will close. Cool, guys. Well, I got your information. Definitely hit up Gene. And yeah, look forward to. I'll see anything that I see. I'll. You said you're looking for just an opportunity to flip or buy and hold.
I'm thinking more buy and hold. You know that story that Jad told. I'm feeling a little bit of that pain as well. So not quite at his level, but
Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, you got to do a tax, and that sucks.
Yeah. So I guess given my age and the runway I have ahead of me, I can be patient and and slowly build the buy and hold. But if I could scale up, what was the guy who had he's had like 50 doors or something like that?
Yeah.
If I could scale up quickly, I'd love to do that too.
I don't know. I was hoping he would extract it. Like, what did you do, Manish? Like, I didn't know he did 2016 to 2023, and in 2019 he was pulling up Excel sheets of data that he analyzes. It was nuts.
Yeah.
He still works full time for like IBM.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty nuts.
But I feel like sometimes if you can juggle it, those situations can be very fruitful because the 9-to-5 job can give you that constant flow of cash. And so you have the ability to do a bunch of deals, but you also don't have the pressure of, I need to do this or else I don't eat. Which is nice. Yeah. That's where I'd like to be. Like 50-50 contracting work, generating the cash, and then doing real estate on almost like two sides or two mains, but never fully invested in either. You can walk away from a contract if you need to, or walk away from a deal if you need to, because neither one will take food off your table on its own.
Yeah, and from my perspective, having that steady income makes it easier to qualify someone too.
That too, yeah. That too.
Well, Malik, we do a ton of renovation. We have all the renovation loan options. So if you do decide you don't want to do hard money on any of the future projects, give me a call. Drop my.
Oh yeah, I took down your info already, man. I thought your name looked familiar, and I thought it maybe that you had maybe worked with Keith at some point. I remember when I was buying my first house, he had two lenders, and I want to say First Home. Yeah, the name of your business looked familiar, but
yeah, we're one of the biggest private lenders, and I know that a colleague of mine works a lot with Harrison and Keith, so it probably was.
Okay, yeah, I was like that looks
He's
familiar.
a better looking guy.
Yeah.
Is it Jake?
I think
that's the name. I think that is the name.
Jake
yeah.
Ryan. Two first names. Jake Ryan.
Yeah, I think that's
two
it.
first names. That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, this was good. Good information, good inspiration, good connections. Another great recommendation by Michael. He's never told me. He's never given me any bad advice in my life.
That's why I love these calls the most is the motivation. Like you hear Jad talk and Carlos and Nick, and it just makes you want to get out there and make calls.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. It's re-energizing. You're totally right.
Yep. All right, guys, I'm gonna hit the road. My kids are asleep, so I can get home to peace and quiet. but can't wait to hear how it went for my wife. We have a Malik, for context, I have a 4-month-old and an 18-month-old. So
wow,
it's chaos at home.
Wow. She really did solid for you tonight, man.
You did. You did. Nick, you're muted.
And I thought I had it bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you got number 2.
Yeah. Just like Harrison, I got 1. She's 2, and I got 1 on the way. So I'm getting all the time in before June 10th.
Good deal.
Wow.
We got to buy a house though. I got all my money with Matt. I got it saved up actually in bonds. Give me like 5%.
Smart.
Nice.
I got to find a house now.
Find it. Hopefully,
maybe I'll convince my wife to buy a 2-unit on Hamilton Street. Sounds like a good deal. Better than the hill.
That would be amazing.
You got a yard space?
There's a little bit of yard space.
You got a little corner. Yeah, I see it. That's it. I'm not looking for a long-term relationship. I'm just looking for the short-term move.
Gotcha.
All right, guys.
See you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Take it easy.